Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joey Emilio Show. Today is another episode of Tech Tuesdays or Tech Talk. I'm joined once again by Yanni van der Valt, my co-host on the show. For those of you who don't know, Yanni is a very intelligent man when it comes to tech. He's been in the tech world since he was literally 3 years old. He took apart a computer and he built it back, and he's been in love with tech ever since. So for those of you who might be wondering, who is this Yanni and why is Joe asking him about the whole WhatsApp privacy policies? Because this guy is one of the few people I actually trust when it comes to tech. And whatever Yanni has discovered, I believe you can take it, how do they say, with pretty much like gold. But before we get into that, Yanni, if you don't mind, I just want to quickly say to people very quickly before we get into the topic at hand, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you haven't yet, go check out Rebel Store. We have officially opened and we're shipping nationwide. A lot of you who have pre-ordered will be receiving their orders in due time in the next 2 weeks. By the end of the month max, it is happening. So please go check out Rebel Store. Then, ladies and gentlemen, also don't forget you can super chat. I imagine the chats will get a bit busy today, so please use the super chat function in case we do miss your question and you really feel you need it answered. And don't forget that you can also become a member on my channel and join the Telegram channel as well. Don't forget about that. I am officially on Telegram, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, and I think I said it, but become a member. Like, do that. All right. So the topic at hand, ladies and gentlemen, is: should we abandon WhatsApp? Yanni, sorry, I was a bit rude earlier. Why didn't you say hi?
Hey peeps, Joe, how's it going? It's been a year. It's our first show for the year.
It is. Yeah, it's very exciting, and I think we're starting it off with quite a big one.
Dude, awesome intro. I got confused because the intro was playing here and it's playing on my YouTube window, and I was like, dancing in the background. So good job on that.
Thanks.
I love it. I like the music.
Thanks. Yes, well, I figured new year, new me, new everything. Channel's busy being revamped. All right, so Yanni, I think we should start with, just like this video is titled, should we be abandoning WhatsApp? What is your take here?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I don't think it's an easy answer because it's a little bit more complex than that. And I think in the end, it's going to come down to personal decision that we need to make. But in order for us to make that decision, I think we need to understand the facts. And that is probably what's been my biggest gripe over the last couple of days, is around all of the hysteria that's been going on around this. And we don't really understand the facts, and myself even in some cases included. Now, I want to ask you a quick question, Joe. When you sign up for something, because I know you signed up for one or two products in the last day or two, did you read the terms and conditions, or did you just click that button that says okay to? I'm just asking.
No, man, I read the user manual every time I get something. No, I didn't read the terms and conditions.
And that's the thing, and that's what I wanted to touch on today. But I think before we dig into that, let's just maybe define two things real quick. The first thing is, let's define this thing around end-to-end encryption that's been thrown around quite a bit around WhatsApp. And WhatsApp or Telegram doesn't have end-to-end encryption or whatever. Let's just define what end-to-end encryption means. Let's use a simple example. Everybody has gone to Clicks, right? You've gone to buy medicine from Clicks, and when they give you that medicine, they put it in a little bag. They lock it up in that little basket. They zip tie it and or zip cable it, cable tie it. You go to the front. They snip it open, you take your stuff out, okay? It's a very simple example. Let's not overcomplicate that. But end-to-end encryption means the message, the photo, the cat picture, cat video, whatever you're sending is inside that little box. It's zip-tied on the one side. You transport it to the other side, and it's then unzip-tied. So while it's in transit, while it's being transported, it's now secure. So it is secure from the one end to the other end. The moment, sorry, you can't see my hands. It's secured from the one end to the other end. So the moment it gets to the other end, it gets opened up, then the encryption kind of like it's decrypted, and then the data as it is on that device is then no longer encrypted from a WhatsApp end-to-end encryption perspective. Okay, let's leave that part simple. So that's what end-to-end encryption means when it comes to somebody saying, my data is end-to-end encrypted. Now, we also have something called client-server encryption, which is like what our banks use. So every time you browse a website, it's got that little padlock next to it. That's kind of like client-to-server encryption. So me as a client, when I'm talking to the server, it's all secure. So this technology is based on bulletproof technology if we just talk about encryption in general, right? So I kind of just wanted us to mention the part around encryption. But I think from encryption, we need to go into privacy information, or like I said, there's two things that we needed to define: is what is private information.
Okay, now, but before you get into that, I want to ask something just in case it wasn't clear. So when you talk about end-to-end encryption, right? Only in transit can it not be seen, okay? Whether it's to the other side of the world or it's to your wife that might be downstairs doing whatever.
Yeah.
However long that is in transit, it cannot be unlocked. It cannot be read. It cannot. But the moment it arrives in the other person's phone, it's public. Is that what it means?
Not public. It is just decrypted then. Because remember, if I'm sending you a message, Joe, I'm going to send you a message now. Great. Okay. When I hit the send button, whatever I put inside that little envelope, inside that little basket, gets zip tied, sent to the other side. You get it. Your phone, because I know who you are, I know Joe Emilio, your identity, it nips it, it cuts it open, and you then have that message. So the in transit side of it, meaning as it's traveling through cyberspace, it's now encrypted until it gets to your phone. Your phone then decrypts it because you can read it.
Yeah, but I mean, we both use, for argument's sake, WhatsApp, right? So you have WhatsApp, I have WhatsApp. Obviously, we didn't read the terms and conditions up until now, and we accepted them. So when I get your message, this is kind of like what I'm trying to understand. When I get your, right, actually doesn't matter, I guess, for encryption purposes during transit, for it not to get lost or hacked during that very millisecond that it's being transferred. I'm guessing that's why. But the moment it's in my WhatsApp
device,
I imagine WhatsApp can still, my device in WhatsApp. I imagine WhatsApp can still see it.
They shouldn't be, but there's an interesting thing on that. So let's jump to WhatsApp's privacy policy quick. Now,
well, yeah, so this is part of your privacy part, right? So let's just start with that. Let's start with the definition.
Let's segue into privacy policy. Now, let's handle this question of yours first. So before we talk about what privacy detail is or what personal details is, the one thing that I have a problem with, and again, this is a personal thing though, right? There seems to be two messages that get sent when WhatsApp says what our privacy policy is or what their privacy policy is. They have a simplified version and then they have a detailed version. The detailed version is the version that none of us wants to read because it's a whole bunch of like yada yada. It's a whole book, right? It's the one that doesn't have nice pictures.
Okay.
So their simplified version is end-to-end encryption. Conversations in end-to-end encrypted chats are clearly labeled with a gold message. I don't know what that means. I haven't seen a gold message. Have you seen a gold message? I haven't seen a gold message. But these messages and calls stay between you and no one else can read or listen to its content, not even WhatsApp. Okay, great. But let's click on the actual privacy policy. Let me just scroll there quick. Your messages. Now, again, this is like a lot of scrolling pages, but it starts off with, we do not retain your messages in the ordinary course of providing our service to you. Once your message, including your chats, photos, videos, voice messages, files, sharing information, blah, 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 are delivered, they are deleted from our service. Your messages are stored on your own device. Then they'll go around a whole bunch of nonsense, like if something isn't being delivered for 30 days, blah, blah, blah. And like hidden here at the end of the sentence, they say, the paragraph, to improve performance and deliver messages more efficiently, such and when many people are sharing a popular photo or video, we may retain that content on our service for a longer period of time. Now, technically speaking, to me, this raises a couple of alarm bells. Now, if my message was end-to-end encrypted, how do you know what I sent? Because remember, I'm sending you an envelope. You have no idea what's inside there. I'm sending you a box. I'm sending you a something that is locked and sealed. You have no idea what is inside there. How do you know it's a photo or a video? Okay, 1. 2, that particular photo or video is popular means you know you've blueprinted it in such a way that you know that even through all the encryption algorithms and what, you still know what that is, that you can cache that to more efficiently deliver it. Now, what caching means is, imagine we only had one SPAR, and the SPAR was up in Joburg. Like, you would have a far drive from Cape Town to Joburg to go and buy your bread and milk. So SPAR has many SPARs, so you can go to your local one. You get that content locally. So if they are caching that content somewhere to deliver it quicker, faster, easier, which is a proven technology that's been used, how are you delivering encrypted content that I sent only to you? Just explain that part to me. Now, I'm sure the lawyers looked at this, and it's written in such a way that the lawyers will and attorneys and whatever will have a field day with that comment. Technically, to me, encrypted content means I have a key and you have a key. And none of mine, your key is me and Joe. It's not me, Joe, and WhatsApp. So, yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know. Did that answer your question? I'm not saying they can read your messages. I'm just saying they're not very clear around how exactly their encryption and stuff works and when that message is shared.
Yes, but that's the thing. That's the point I was trying to make, and I think Laura Fry also understands what I'm trying to ask. Won't they see it when it gets to the other side? So yes, maybe the popular photo, I think they kind of outed themselves, because if there's a popular photo, I send it to you, I send it to everybody that's listening now in this conversation, right? Yes, when it leaves, even if I did it like as a broadcast message or whatever, or I did it individually. This, for argument's sake, say I individually went to Gentle Inflatables, Laura Fry, Reese Vanderfault, and so on and so forth. Everybody that's in here in this chat, Mr. Punisher, and sent it to everybody individually. Every time I sent it, yes, it's encrypted, can't be seen. But the moment it lands in each and everyone else's phone, it's not encrypted anymore, which means WhatsApp can then view it or notice it, or I don't know, aware of it in some way, if I can put it that way. So, but again, that goes against what they say when they say, "Oh, we don't read your messages. We don't," you know. I feel like you say they're being very vague, and they use the encryption to kind of like sidestep, you know. No. We have an encryption thing. We have an encryption. It's fine, you know. But like you said, it's end-to-end encryption. There's a difference between encryption as a whole and like your messages are encrypted forever, whereas when it's just in transit. I did find the gold message here. It happens, and this is why I think a lot of people may not remember this gold message, because it only appears the first time you're going to contact someone on WhatsApp. So if I don't know you, I've just added your phone number to my phone. I'm about to WhatsApp you, Yanni. You'll get a gold message, and it's right here in front of me. For those of you, it's very blurry, but you can see at the top there. There's gold text, and it says messages and calls are end-to-end encrypted. No one outside of this chat, not even WhatsApp, can read or listen to them. Tap to learn more.
Yeah, but define WhatsApp. Was it when WhatsApp sent it? Or because your answer to that question segues into the next section around personal information and what data is actually being collected on our phones. Because I was highly surprised with the amount of information that's being collected on our phones.
Okay, well, let's get into that then. Or do you want me to click on this learn more?
No, click on learn more. Let's see what it says.
Okay.
I don't have WhatsApp anymore. We can talk about
WhatsApp secures your conversations with end-to-end encryption. This means your messages, calls, and status updates stay between you and the people you choose. Not even WhatsApp can read or listen to them. This is learn more. So they just repeated a notification came up, and then I think this goes into what you've already researched. The whole it goes right into that privacy and security is in our DNA. I don't know if you read that part.
Yeah. That's like
Yeah,
that's
all
like
this
part of their first
on their website.
It's the nice pictures.
Yeah. There's nice pictures here and everything.
So by definition, that is what end-to-end encryption is. I just think the flavor of it's not very clear. And I have a couple of concerns around that. Like I said, because they are caching encrypted information now on their servers, so they know that it was cached, which means that message might not be immediately delivered, immediately deleted. It might be deleted only 15 minutes later. Once they've found that message on your phone, you've opened it up. We're segueing into the next section now, but the detail around the blueprint around that is now collected, and they know, retain that message. We need to resend it on. But then again, how are you re-encrypting that message to send it to the next person? How are you extracting that from cache if it's encrypted? If it is like, remember that old movie, the Enigma device that they used in the World War. Was it the Germans? They used that Enigma device that they used for decoding and whatever.
Yes.
And then they cracked the code. What was the movie called?
I'm gonna get it now.
Somebody in chat's gonna tell us now.
I know, and I don't want to look at the chats now. I want to get it.
Come on, Joe, you can get
it. Imitation Game.
Yes. So remember, they cracked the code there, and then they had to like, because they used Morse code, but it was encrypted Morse code, I think. And then they had to change the keys and whatever, and they had this thing with cycling keys. Now that's the thing. If I have a key and you have a key for the same lock, there shouldn't be a third key. I'm just saying, I'm not saying, hey, what's up, you guys are insecure or whatever. I'm just technically answering like, guys, how are you doing this? Because it's encrypted content. Like, you're not being very clear on that. But let's move on. So, personal information. Because this whole thing for me is not around encryption, not around everything, although I did want to touch on that. Personal information, what is
that's
personal
the bigger
information?
Issue for people, yeah.
Now, personal information can be almost any information that's associated with an identifiable living individual. So it can include correspondence, audio recordings, images, alphanumeric identifiers, ID numbers, phone numbers, combinations of these things, whatever, right? That is identified, and enough of it's identified to start building a persona of you. Very much like in Social Dilemma, where as they learned enough, for the guys that did watch Social Dilemma on Netflix, I think it came out last year, as the guys was collecting information, the kid started dressing up. They started seeing his sneakers and his hairstyle and his jacket and whatever. They
built the profile, basically.
Yeah, they started building a profile of him. Now, as in its individual parts, so a person's full name is probably not the most obvious example of personal data, but it can represent personal information. So it's about context of how these guys are using this information. Okay, so for example, Joe. It's not personal information if I write Joe on a little yellow sticky note and I put it down there somewhere. What is Joe? Joe is Joe. Okay, that's not personal information.
Yeah.
But if I had a printout of medical records or an x-ray or something, and I put that sticky note on top of that, okay, and that would be at a company where you work and you are the only Joe, as an example. That's like a very serious example of personal information that's used, that is used when it's used in context with something else. The same thing like for a phone number. A list of phone numbers without any context, like just a list of phone numbers with no names associated with it. It's a list of phone numbers, okay? But a phone number with Joe associated to it, that becomes personal information because that is Joe's number. So same thing with email addresses as well, email address is a bit different. just the company name, info@joeemilio.com versus joe@joeemilio.com, two different uses of that information, ID numbers, whatever. So personal information just becomes tricky. And the reason why I wanted to mention that is, Joe, if you can bring up the example that I sent you now, let me just explain to the guys that's listened. So what I did, because I have lots of time on my hands and I just love reading through terms and conditions and privacy policies and all those things. I've gone and read through some of these privacy policies, and I've looked at what these guys share. And this was pretty scary. So I've condensed some of it because I can explain what, some of these things mean. But let's just, I don't know, where do we want to start with? Facebook, because Facebook kind of has the most. But Facebook,
I think it's pretty self-explanatory what, signals. Okay, signal strength. I don't understand why they would want to know signal strength. Maybe for their own app. I don't know. I don't know what the hell that is.
So signal strength in Facebook's context is used in two ways. Sorry for interrupting you, Joe. So signal strength, they're not measuring just your cellular signal strength. They're measuring Wi-Fi strength and Bluetooth strength. So if you are walking in a mall close to a company that is also on Facebook, that's also advertising on Facebook, and they can identify that company with Bluetooth Low Energy or something like that, they know that you are within that vicinity of the company, which they could then use to link that company's products, you being in the vicinity, and target you with, let's say, certain ads. So it's one example of how signal strength, your location, browsing history, whatever, all being used together.
Okay. Device ID, it's
the attributes of your device. So it's the operating system, the hardware, the phone you're using, software version, battery level, available storage on your phone. A lot of things get shared from your device.
Now, user ID.
Remember? Say again?
User ID. That is alarming. Now, what exactly user ID are they talking about? Are they talking about login credentials? Or are they talking about your handle? Or both?
Yeah, so user ID is again a bunch of attributes that makes up the you. So let's use something like Instagram as an example. Well, actually Facebook as well. Facebook's just not that good at it. Instagram is a better example for user ID because you can either sign in with your email address, your phone number, or your phone number, though, right?
Okay. So
or you actually your handle without the @ sign.
Yeah.
And but then they collect. They know you are who you are based on your cell number, your email address if you've associated, and your @ handle. So @Joe Emilio Comedy or @Yanni van der Walt or whichever handles we use online, Twitter, whatever. That type of stuff makes up user ID information.
Yeah. So
they'll have your password, but they know
a lot of this
they shouldn't know what your password is because those things are usually encrypted heavily. I know. That sounds weird though, right? But it should be encrypted, salted, all kinds of tech voodoo, but passwords should be safe.
So unless there's something here that in the Facebook section that really alarms you that you want to just talk about very quickly, like for me, it's other user contact info. That's a bit alarming. I understand why they would look into contacts because when you use the Facebook app, it asks you, do you want to see which of your contacts are on Facebook? So that's kind of fine. Mm-hmm. Phone search history, again, that's for advertisers. What else? iMessage. See, now we don't even think about that. How safe is iMessage? Facebook has iMessage and now WhatsApp. Then we've got, physical address, location, then approximate location. You either have the location or you don't. Anyway, payment history always worries me.
I think they just use it for two different reasons. They use the one to say, hey, Joe Emilio's in the vicinity. Have you seen Facebook do that? Like Joe Emilio is in your suburb or something like that versus precise location. And I think There's a way to check it. I don't have WhatsApp on my phone now, but there's a way to check it under your settings, privacy. WhatsApp collects for days on end exactly where you've been at, like breadcrumbs. Not WhatsApp,
Yes.
Facebook. It breadcrumbs exactly where you were or where you've been.
Yeah. And other financial information. That's
So where you've used Facebook from a payment perspective, so either when you've done shopping via Facebook, whatever, where you've paid for ads, paid for all kinds of things, it's all information that's being collected though. And I mean, this is all fine. I don't think I have a problem with the fact that some of these information is being collected. It's how it's being used where the real issue comes in. Because in some of these cases, I think it's good. I mean, I'm not completely anti-tech when it comes to some of this, but just segueing to WhatsApp. I mean, WhatsApp also collects a ton of that information, like we said, the device details, which is all the details around your device, what device you're using, what phone you're using, how much free space you have, all kinds of things. IP address information, whether you're on Wi-Fi, whether you're on mobile data, phone numbers, details, your purchase history. Now, WhatsApp does have payment integration, so I think it's been deployed into India and maybe a couple of other countries where you can actually pay using WhatsApp. So very much like you would have like Zapper, SnapScan, whatever. WhatsApp also has their their payment type of information. They do say they've got your email address. I don't know where they would have found an email address. I haven't seen me putting my email address in somewhere. That could be when you use WhatsApp for business, I guess, where your email address gets collected. Course location information is, again, approximate. Product integration is WhatsApp for business. Performance data and diagnostic data, they're quite clear on that. They are collecting a bunch of, I've got their privacy policy here. They are collecting a bunch of other device information around your device, something that we shouldn't really care about, but they are collecting all that information. It's like you driving in your car. Do you really care to know exactly what temperature your water or oil is at and whatever? It's like all of that all of that metadata that's being collected. Now, Instagram is where the real issue for me came in, because Instagram had a couple of stuff that was standing out. And I put that in brackets. Instagram collects even mouse movements when you use Instagram on a
which
PC.
is insane.
Now, Instagram is not that great on a PC, or let me rather say browser, because you can't publish content, but you can consume content. But they are using that for mouse movements. Now, I can think about bots and all kinds of things why you would want to collect that. But again, I want to come back to this point, though, right? So the thing is, though, they are collecting tons of these information across all of these apps. My issue here is how this information gets used. And before we go into Signal and Telegram, because there's very little to say about those two from a what information they collect perspective, the issue here is, for me, Facebook, when they acquired WhatsApp about 6 years ago, they had a very hard time getting that deal to go through, because there was lots of criticism. But because of the European Union, they only approved that deal after Facebook assured them that the two companies and their data will be kept separate. Now, what I mean, the two companies, I'm talking about Facebook and WhatsApp. This was after the Instagram merger, because at the time of Instagram, this stuff was approved when privacy wasn't so much of a concern for us. Because, 10 years ago, we didn't think about privacy the way we think about it now. 5 years ago, we didn't think about it the way we think about it now. And there's something that I'll, talk about towards the end around my view on this. But now, yes, it's the problem. So Facebook assured them that they will keep this data separate. And it didn't take long for Facebook to go back on this agreement, because in 2016, WhatsApp, the WhatsApp policy was updated, by a company owning Facebook, to say that they are now sharing data between WhatsApp and Facebook. And this is all, it wasn't quite clear what they were sharing exactly, like the full extent of, phone number data, when, your usage data, etc. But They updated the policy about 4 years ago to say that they are now starting to share this data. Now we're getting this policy update again. Now, the issue here for me is two things. On the one side, this new change that we have coming with the WhatsApp policy that's changing is that they have, I don't know, they have already, let me just get my train of thought. I don't want to get it wrong. The issue here for me is they've already made this mistake kind of like once now with this though, right? Where they have said one thing and they're doing something else. Nobody was really doing anything at the time about it, okay? Now we are seeing Facebook being in the crosshairs of a lot of antitrust authorities, the Federal Trade Commission, attorneys general, like almost all of the states in the US has got some antitrust lawsuit against Facebook regarding the Instagram acquisition. And we know what Facebook does when you can't, compete with them. They just buy them out, type of thing, whatever. So they bought out Instagram, and Zuckerberg kind of like acknowledged that if you listen to the court cases and stuff that the guys had at the time. So you are dealing with that as well. There's like a court case, or multiple court cases with them against the Instagram stuff. I'm waiting for a similar antitrust suit against them from a WhatsApp perspective, because they've already broken that promise once now where they said these two companies' data will be kept separate, and it's not. And now we have this new policy where they are going to be sharing even more information. And this just brought me to the point personally where I'm not saying, guys, everybody follow me like a lemming, let's jump off the cliff and ditch WhatsApp. All I'm saying is this made me look at all of this information and start saying, right, how do I want to secure myself? Or how do I want to take control of a situation where we are in now? And this led me to take X amount of steps in my personal capacity around how I feel with Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram.
Well, let me stop you there for a quick second, because I'm seeing some comments come in that are very interesting. So we have a comment here that we can address very quickly in a moment. Marco saying, if you want to abandon WhatsApp, you must abandon Google entirely too. Facebook WhatsApp is only catching up to Google's ability to track your data across platforms. We're going to address that just now, as well as Laura Fry saying, to be honest, I don't actually care what data of mine they take or use. And the reason why I'm honing in on those two comments is because it should worry you a little bit. Now, I understand if you don't care, that's fine. But look at this diagram that has been made. You got the blue column Facebook, green is WhatsApp, pink Instagram. Facebook owns all of that information Facebook has. Take that in for a moment. And it's going to get even more. And I think to some extent, some people don't want all that information, or to allow Facebook to have all that information. I see some comments in the comment section now saying that, I haven't used Facebook in years. I don't even remember my password. Cool. So if you use WhatsApp, then that's the information. But some of the information or some of the data is overlapping. So people in the chat that don't use Instagram, that's fine too. So you're limiting the amount of data that Facebook has on you if you don't use Facebook and you don't use Instagram, right? But if you use all three, I'm getting concerned. I don't. I mean, I understand. Some people will say, yeah, but it's for advertising and blah blah. But as Yanni has said, and if you've watched The Social Dilemma, if you've watched The Great Hack, two awesome documentaries on Netflix. You can go check them out. It's scary how some of these companies use this information basically against ourselves. It has damaged, and we've spoken about this before. You can go check out the episode that Jan and I did on The Social Dilemma, where tech is going in terms of social media and all this stuff. And when we say in that episode, like, we're concerned because all these tech, because of the way they've been structured, is it's all about the advertiser. They want you to click. They want you to stay on the screen. It's all they care about.
Yeah.
And that's how they use the information. They're basically making money off of you. Now, some of you might be like, well, that's fine. I get to use the app for free or whatever. So if I'm selling my information, that's fine. I get to use the app for free or whatever. And some other alternatives like Weeme, you have to pay if you don't want to see ads. Gab, you have to pay if you don't want to see ads. But again, companies have to make money somehow. So I understand that. I think the point I'm trying to make here is every individual has the right to decide what information of theirs should be shared to an entity. And I think something Yanni also brought up when I was chatting to him off air is he was like, it's funny to me, Joe, that everybody was kicking up arms and saying, oh, no, I'm not going to get the government app. I'm not going to get the government app. I don't want my data to be shared. Da, 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 da. But you're on these platforms that probably share even more content about you than the government app does. Probably. I don't know. So,
yeah.
And saying things like, oh, well, if you're gonna get off WhatsApp, then you also need to get off this. No, I don't. Because again, if I choose to be off WhatsApp and Facebook or Instagram, either way, I'm kind of screwed because either way, they're going to get my information. But I'm just saying less information is shared is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. And also, I wouldn't mind getting off Google if I'm completely honest. I'll go on DuckDuckGo. A lot of people have been saying it's actually not bad and it's not censored either. But unfortunately, this channel, this platform is only available. Well, you can view it on DuckDuckGo, I imagine. But I'm saying, like, I am kind of a contributor to Google because we're on YouTube right now. We can't all have what we want, but we can make decisions that we as individuals feel comfortable with doing. And if someone says, well, I'm deleting WhatsApp and I'm going to go off Telegram, don't condemn them for doing so and then try and guilt trip them and say, well, you're a hypocrite because, like, if you're going to leave WhatsApp, then you need to leave these platforms too. No. People aren't comfortable. And Yanni, you can also explain your current changes, if I can put that, to your, because you've changed now. You if I understand you correctly, you're no longer, or you don't have Facebook on your phone. But before we get into that, I just want to address a super chat that came in. Chris Wyatt, thank you so much for watching and the super chat. $2. I can pay rent at the end of the month. Big Tech is watching and they do not protect you. Exactly. I'm sure Chris Wyatt can also agree with some of the stuff that we are saying. All right. So Yanni, explain to us the recent decision you've made.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. And I think this is the thing though, right? So this whole, I don't know what we want to call this thing, this whole debacle, has caused me to read a lot of these fine print. And in reading all of these fine print, it kind of like said to me, okay, cool. I like the product that I'm using because I use some of these products for a specific reason, okay? My wife hated me for it, but a couple of years ago, I suggested to her, and I was saying to her, you know what, I'm actually hurtful of Facebook. Like, I'm at a point where I don't want to use it anymore because I can get my information in a different way, but Facebook is probably not going to be the answer for me, especially from a consumption perspective. And she wasn't happy with me about it. But I don't know how she feels about it now because we've started having this conversation because her business is also now being affected by these decisions that we are making. And it's not like I'm forcing her into this, and we can talk on that a bit. But my decision that I've taken is to say, okay, right, because somebody did make a comment earlier to say, well, if you jump off the one, you need to jump off all of them. And I've seen other people also make that statement. And that's half true. Because the real issue here is you are using these apps on the device that you carry with you all the time, okay? I don't carry my PC necessarily with me all the time. And even if it's a laptop, it's not like on all the time where it collects all of this data when you go. But these mobile apps are far more dangerous because they integrate into a device that is surfacing a lot of sensory information to it. And what I mean with sensory information is everything run it, like what we had on the slide. Right. So the decision that I took is to say, okay, cool. Instagram, I have because I browse Instagram a little bit and I follow some of my interests, Formula One, 3D printing, whatever it is. And I consume. I barely even share something on Instagram. I maybe like a couple of posts. So great. Let's get rid of Instagram. Try and delete your Instagram account. That is pretty much impossible. They don't allow you to delete it. You can temporarily suspend it, but there's no delete button. So I need to figure that out still. If somebody knows how to do that, please let me know.
Wait a second.
WhatsApp.
A tech guy doesn't know how to delete Instagram.
No, I haven't Googled it yet. I'm still getting to that.
This is like rookie stuff for you.
I haven't Googled it yet.
No, I'm not saying you're incapable of it. I'm saying, how difficult is it that a guy as savvy as you in tech can't delete an Instagram account? Like that's mind-boggling to me.
Because there's no button. There's no button for you to delete your account. When you go to your settings, your privacy settings, whatever, there's no button, even on your mobile app or on your phone. Like WhatsApp. WhatsApp has a place to say delete my account.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll touch on that. Let's go to WhatsApp immediately. So I jumped off WhatsApp as well, right? I told my important contacts that I'm moving over to Telegram. I've been wanting to move to Telegram for a while because Telegram does a couple of things better, in my opinion. One, protects my personal identity from a you don't know what my cell number is, because that is annoying. I don't mind you sending me Telegram messages because I can go and block you if you're a douche. So that's great, but I don't want you to have my phone number because that can get used, because although our RICA is probably a failure, but through my phone number, you can RICA and you can get a lot of my personal information, and you can buy that stuff in South Africa because people would take $500 to give me the RICA information for some cell phone number. I'm just saying. So yeah. I went and deleted my account, which kind of like resets me. If I want to use WhatsApp again now, I need to sign up again for WhatsApp, register my phone number, whatever. It doesn't know who I am, doesn't know what groups I was part of, nothing. Instagram doesn't have that button anywhere. There's no button for me to go and delete my account. The only thing they have is temporarily suspend my account, which makes you can't mention me or whatever. I'm temporarily suspended. It kind of like puts it on hold. So I don't know, do I leave it there for 30 days and then they delete it, 90 days? I don't know. I need to go and read up and find out what the exact process is, because it's not intuitively in the UI anywhere under the settings for me to go and, have the right from them to please now forget about me. I don't want to use it. I can download my content. I can do everything but do that. Now, I've not done that with Facebook. Facebook I still have, because I still use Facebook from a information consumption perspective, especially in the 3D printing space, quite a bit. So Facebook, I've just decided to not have it on my phone anymore, and I will use Facebook from my PC. That already, in my opinion, starts, if you recall that slide that we had up, a lot of the information that is there now, I can now start striking out, because I can open up Facebook in a private browser. So Edge is called private browser, Chrome's called incognito, Opera, whatever, Brave browser, all of these browsers are called in private browsing or something. All it means is the cookies is contained and self-contained. If you close that window, cookies gone, whatever, it doesn't get shared amongst other things. So that'll start striking off history, whatever. So if I really, really care about some of those things that much, that's the one big issue for me that you can curb. And then the second one is location info. You won't have exact location info because I can tell my browser not to share that. And the only location info you really have is my IP address and that type of detail. Maybe on the laptop you might have a bit more because it might have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all that type of stuff. So that's the decisions that I've made from, okay, what is my position on this? My position is I'm favoring Telegram because it protects a lot of my privacy, in my opinion. I have a lot more control around who can see my number, who can't see my number. I have all the features that I want in terms of phone calls, over the top services, like doing a phone call to my family, video calls, our family groups, etc. All of that stuff is there. The reason why I use this over the top service that used to be WhatsApp, but it's not Telegram, I can access it from my desktop. I can do all those things that I need to use, and actually works on my iPad as well, which is quite great. WhatsApp never used to work on your iPad. There was third-party apps for that. So
Crap.
yeah, they're all crap, and they're all browser-based, and it's all very cyber scary if you think about it, because it's using a browser instance to do it. It's not really cool. So those are my reasons. Those are why I decided. So, the question that was asked is, you need to jump off all of these things. I'm like, I hear you, and I agree with you. What I'm saying is guys, read all these fine print, read all these things, and start deciding how much of your information do you want to share. And I chose to say, okay, cool. Well, Facebook, I'm not giving you all of that information, not through 3 of your apps, giving you all that information. Google on my phone, I can choose to not sign in and still have search and whatever. Google won't know my identity. None of this stuff is perfect, because if we want to start worrying about privacy in 2021, well, guys, it's a little late. We should have been concerned about that, like, a long time ago. The first time you started using a smartphone, you started downloading apps, giving permissions to this app to track my this and do that and have access to my contacts. We should have done that a long time ago. I'm now just saying it's cool. Well, my house is unsecure. I need an alarm system. I'm choosing an alarm system. I'm choosing where I'm putting sensors. I'm doing the best I can in 2021 with this information. And I've made a decision around what information streams do I want and how do I want to consume that stream. And this is where it's led me. Now, maybe in 6 months, I'll come tell between my legs, WhatsApp installed back onto my phone and whatever. I don't know. But right now, I'm like, okay, cool. I've read all of this. This is kind of like scary. So let's give this thing a go. Let's give the Telegram thing a go. Let's get rid of WhatsApp. Let's get rid of Instagram. Let's get half rid of Facebook.
Well, look, I think, it is a personal choice. We are not here to tell you, oh, you gotta abandon WhatsApp now. It's horrible. Like, they're sharing all your crap, blah, blah. No, we wanted to go and dig what is the truth, what is the reality. And I think we've been fair. We've told you that this is exactly what they are sharing with. Well, not exactly, but definitely most of it. And there it is again. This is what each platform is sharing. And if you're comfortable with that, then you're comfortable with that. Yanni isn't comfortable with some of it. I'm not comfortable with some of it either. I'll decide what I'll do. I have already made provisions with Facebook, really, because in their settings, you can limit the amount of information that they can see about you and stuff like that in your settings. My personal account is very private, but also I don't use Facebook that much. I use my Facebook page a lot. But not my Facebook personal profile a lot. So there you go. I think Instagram, I don't know, man. Instagram hasn't really served me much, so I might actually get rid of it. I don't know. WhatsApp, I've already gotten rid of. So there you go. Less information being shared. And I might do the same as you've done, where I delete Facebook off my phone and just leave it on my laptop. That sounds like a very good...
My battery has lost so long today.
Really? Well, there you go, guys.
Yeah. Like, I might be able to charge my phone on Thursday or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm going to delete Facebook right now. So deleting, that's another, battery life. There you go. I definitely, I think I am going to do that. I'm going to take Facebook off my phone. And I'm just gonna have Telegram on there and stuff like that. I think that's a safer thing. And like Yanni said, it's too late to worry really about it, guys. I mean, like, in reality, it's too late now to go to these tech giants and be like, oh well, you got to stop now. Now there's alternatives out there, and when you go to that alternative, read the T's and C's.
Please be aware of it. Don't just click OK. open it in a new page, go back to it tonight before you go to bed, but just read through the T&C and just see at least what personal information they're sharing. How are they sharing it? And sorry, Joe, I don't know, I'm interrupting you now, but something else to keep in mind is when these companies that we use gets acquired by some other company. I'm going to use an example, and obviously everybody knows we're using StreamYard for the stream, but StreamYard got acquired or merged with another company.
Yes.
I forgot their name now, Hoopty or
something like that.
something, Hooney or whatever. So that again, like if you have an interest in one thing and they get acquired by somebody else, it's interesting to go and read those terms of that acquisition and whatever, especially if it's something where personal information and stuff gets shared. Just know how your information is being used. This is a new problem that got created for us, whereby we very easily just click on Hopin. Thanks, Beth. Eleutheria.
Thank you.
Hopin or Hopin. We're very easy to just click that button and go to the next screen and don't even care about what information is getting shared there. I just think, like, lesson to myself, something that I've learned from all of this is we need to be reading some of these things a bit and at least attempt it to understand that. And
also, you don't have to read the whole thing.
Take.
Just because you told me you don't have to read the whole thing, just the part where it says the title is what we share or something like that.
Yeah, skip to their privacy section or skip to what we share or skip to how they say how we deal with your data. I mean, I can bring up examples of these headlines, what they call these things, but they all have something around like what personal data do we use, as an example for Telegram or Instagram has a data policies. What type of information do we collect? And then they say, how do we use this information? This is the stuff you should go and read. And I don't know. Yeah. That's my guidance here. Joe, I do want to just mention, I saw a chat a few times coming up from Asset Zol saying about Signal. Asset Zol, I can give my 5 cents around Signal quick. When it comes to these big providers, now there's a lot of other chat products we haven't spoken about and some really funky looking ones, but WhatsApp, unfortunately, they have like almost 2 billion active users. They're massive. They've been in this game for like 12 years. They were the first ones there, and they wrecked all the other ones at the time. I'm talking about the mainstream ones. I'm not talking about the Chinese, internal ones and whatever. Telegram is a bit smaller. They're about 400-500 million active users, and Signal is about 10 or 20 million active users. Now, from the ground up, Signal's not bad. I did read their privacy policy and their terms and privacy policy. It's fairly straightforward, fairly quick read. Not going to take you very long. They don't mess around. Like, they don't really use your data at all for anything. They kind of very niche. They do one thing and they do one thing really good, and it's to send messages and they collect a bit of your data, possibly in the back end for the service itself, but using the data for anything, nothing really. It's your phone. It's your phone number, because they need to identify you in one way or another. You can use Signal with a burner cell phone, a SIM card on your phone by changing the SIM card, throwing it away, and you'll never need it again. They're going to send you an SMS on that once. So in terms of like look and feel, all of these things look and feel is the same. Signal's not that great. Now, I'm going to use my wife as an example. I asked her to install it because we've been testing these apps over the last few days quite a bit so that I can talk from a bit of experience with these things. And my wife's comment to me was like, you know what, when I switched over to Telegram, I felt at home kind of like, I kind of like knew this button did this, and you kind of quickly felt your way around. But with Signal, it was just like, she couldn't get a liking in it. It just didn't have that same appeal to her. So again, it's an important thing from, I suppose, an app developer perspective and these, how the software gets used. I know this was endorsed by Elon Musk and Edward Snowden and all of these things, and it's great. I mean, it means the technology is bulletproof, and I'm not saying that technology isn't bulletproof. I think for the masses, Telegram is probably just a little bit better for me. It's a little bit well-rounded, a little bit more mature, and it does what it needs to do for me right now a little bit better. And that's why I preferred that. But, I still have Signal on my phone. I want to leave it on there. I want to see how it goes. But, yeah. Other people might feel different about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. People do feel different about it, and one of them is Laura Fry. She's relentless tonight, saying that Yanni, government knows everything. Government even knows when you service repair your car because it gets plugged into a computer. They know about you anyway. I think Laura has recently watched Snowden, the movie. Um,
Yeah.
and it's true. I do like anybody who hasn't seen that movie yet. Snowden, released in 2016. Main actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Even Snowden makes an appearance in the movie at the end. Very scary. I don't know how much of that movie is true. Obviously, it's Hollywood. It's been dramatized, but we all know that Snowden leaked information about the NSA and the CIA about how much information they were taking about people and how much they could actually see. Even when you're not using your webcam on your computer, they can still tap into it. It's quite scary. So yeah, okay. You start comparing it to something like that, and you start to think to yourself, you know what, Facebook isn't that bad.
No, but to your points.
I understand that. I understand that way of thinking. But I would just want to say something very quickly. Sorry, Yanni. I think the reason why this WhatsApp privacy policy has become such an issue, or everyone's created such a big deal about it, is because of the current situation that we are in. When Snowden did what he did, it felt like the world cared a little bit, but we're like, whatever. And then Facebook came out, and everybody came out and said, "Oh, we'll do better, we'll do better." And then everybody was happy, and everybody moved on. Right now, we're in the middle of a lockdown, and people don't have much better to do. And like we're stuck. We're either, most of us work at home, we're on social media a lot, we on YouTube a lot, and we see stuff. And because of what's happened in the past year with I don't want to get demonetized, so with what happened in the US, everybody knows what I'm talking about. And the division that is caused in this world because of current events in the world, because of what's happening now, I think everybody feels like there's a big divide for many different reasons. And I think a lot of us are sick and tired of hearing that our information is being shared. And I think this is just maybe the last straw for some people. And yes, while some people might feel the way Laura Fry feels, well, guys, the government knows everything, so what's the difference? That's fine. That is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. But some people have a bit more security in being able to control what they share. And again, if someone decides to get off Facebook or get off social media, don't belittle them. And I'm not saying Laura Fry is doing that. I'm just saying in general, because I've seen this on social media, where people get belittled because they say that they're going to leave Telegram, they're going to leave WhatsApp or Facebook. Don't do that. It's everybody's personal choice. They can do it. And I think you guys can see here that there is a lot of information that these big tech companies are sharing. There's no doubt about that. And again, it's the way in which they use this information against you that is the problem. Again, watch Social Dilemma and The Great Hack, and you'll understand. And then you can decide again if you want to stay plugged in or not. Sorry, Yanni, you wanted to say?
Yeah. No. I agree with you, Joe. And I think that's the important part, though, right? So, I mean, I see Laura's comments as well. The government knows everything about us, etc., etc. They will find it out whichever way they want. That's great. If they want to go digging for it, I can't stop them from digging, or I can stop them from digging up to a point within my legal limits. So, right? But it's like me locking my house, or it's me having an alarm system in my house. So in this case, I'm choosing my alarm system, and I'm choosing where to put it. And I'm choosing to improve on my alarm system, and I'm choosing how that information is shown. And Joe, this is kind of like my final point on this. I mean, I'm happy to chat a bit more, but this is kind of my final point on this is, like I said earlier, is we should have been concerned around some of these things way sooner than this. We're only getting concerned about it now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay to just say, well, it's too late. I don't think it's okay to just say, oh, go and look at the great hack. They're collecting 5,000 data points about you. We'll, it's too late. I think it's an eye-opener for us to say, okay, guys, where the world is heading, I think it's probably important for us to start being more aware of how we interface with this digital world. And right now, the ways I see this is starting to read some of these fine prints, starting to read these terms and conditions. What am I signing up for? Because we've used this cliche already around that was in Social Dilemma, where they say, about free services. If you are not paying for the product, you are the product, and that's true. But I want to add to that to say is well, where I'm the product, what I'm paying with, though, I'm paying with privacy currency. I'm paying with currency about me, where I am, where I've been to, how I'm using certain things. A lot of this data is being collected by a company that has twice, to my knowledge, broken promises, and this is specifically talking about Facebook now, was around them saying one thing, oh no, we won't merge WhatsApp and Facebook data, and 2 years later they go and do exactly that, which is what they promised the EU they won't do. And secondly, if you look at the great hack that Joe also mentioned and the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, everything that they've done, and I've seen all of that, and it's all good and bad and whatever. But a lot of that was enabled by the fact that Facebook, through a security limitation or whatever, gave away too much of that private information. Now, I've mentioned it earlier where I said Facebook collects all of this information, but it's in this hidden profile because they don't necessarily share it with other people. But the problem is that data is there. That data is there. So, yeah. For me, it's important that you know what you are selling and who you are selling it to.
Yeah. And like I said, some people are okay with it. Some people aren't. All I'm saying is I don't like seeing this, like, almost if someone says, well, I'm going to be off WhatsApp, well, then you got to, delete this and delete that and blah, blah, blah. And why are you doing it? So you're this, you're that. Just what the fuck? Just let the person be. All right. So one last thing. I don't know if you mentioned it. I can't remember, but I think you touched on it. That I know we're going a bit over time, but there is something I wanted to mention. I think it's important for people to know this. Sorry. Did you mention that the WhatsApp co-founder walked away?
Yeah. So that's interesting, though. So if you read we didn't. So if you read the terms of service again, because a lot of people are saying, yeah, but you're jumping to Telegram, and Telegram is going to get bought out by somebody or whatever as well. Telegram is quite specific in that they say is they will not sell to somebody. They're not going to be ad bound, and their long-term plan has always been in 2021 to start generating income through their business aspect of Telegram and whatever. And that's all great. And we need to deal with that problem when it gets there, though, right? And if it means we're jumping ship again, then again, I'm making the decisions about my privacy, right? Let's keep that in mind. But going to the point that you said, Joe, is there was an article a while back around where did I save the article now? Anyway, I'll go it from memory. But there was an article a while back where one of the co-founders of WhatsApp in 2018, I think, left the company. And he left a significant amount of money, like $850 million on the table by leaving WhatsApp because of philosophical differences around Zuckerberg and the Facebook board, pushing them into starting to drive ad revenue and stuff into WhatsApp. Despite WhatsApp's privacy policy saying that they're not going to do ads and whatever, they also do say it's in the extension of their policy that this might change in the future. So we always know they're going to be heading towards that towards that. And that brings it back to this whole new policy change of them with their business integration, because a lot of people are saying, oh no, but it's only businesses, it's not with us as individuals. It's like, guys, the writing's on the wall with something like this. And so second to that, I think the other co-founder also left. I forgot the guys' names now. Also left Facebook. And a little bit later, the two co-founders of Instagram also left, because of, again, philosophical differences around how WhatsApp or how Facebook is pushing their ad revenue and all that type of stuff. So I did see a comment from Marco earlier to say that they don't do this stuff in the EU. Marco, I hear you and I see you. It gets very, very tricky, maybe from an app perspective, when you download it from an EU app store, that you, in the EU app store, the app does have the ability for you to not share certain information from a WhatsApp perspective, but there is many different app stores out there. There is also guys that is using these apps not necessarily signed up in the EU when they are in the EU. So where you're signing up and downloading it versus where you are getting it. So that's a big gray area for me. I don't want to go into the detail necessarily because it's going to be hypothetical, but that's a gray area for me on that. So when it comes to WhatsApp, they're not very clear on that. I know they start off with their banner and the whole EU thing and whatever, but it's not clear enough for me, unfortunately.
You've also mentioned that the WhatsApp policies in general are quite murky, so they don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Eleutheria is saying, Gareth Cliff said it will sort itself out. The better service provider will win out. MySpace died. Facebook might die too. Actually, very good point. I think at the moment now, like I said, there's many things happening in the world now. There's people jumping to Telegram. There's people jumping to Gab. There's people jumping to MeWe. There's people jumping to all these other alternatives. And maybe, Yanni, we should have a more in-depth conversation about all these other alternatives, like Gab and all these other ones, Parlay, all those. Yeah. And I don't know about looking necessarily into the security feature. Maybe we can touch on the security features of each, because that can get a bit complicated. It's a lot of reading. But maybe just saying, like, very quickly, okay, well, this is what Gab is for. This is what this is for. This is, and they seem to all have the same kind of mantra when it comes to security and freedom of speech. So maybe we can do that in a future thing. I'll tell you what, if we get this video to 50 likes, we'll do it. However, yeah.
50 likes.
Are we? I don't know. I don't think so.
Come on, 32, 41
likes. Not bad.
Come on, guys.
All right, cool. Come on. There's 41 people. There's been a lot of people watching tonight, so thank you all so much who have been watching. But yeah, very good point from Eleutheria. I think that is true. I think we're going to see in the next, I would say, 5 years, people or companies like Gab, like MeWe, Parlay, they're all going to just rise. And you'll have options, basically, to jump from one to the other. Which might solve the problem that we're talking about right now. Okay, well, people... fact that Google shares everything and Facebook and all this stuff, so you can be on Gab and you can be on DuckDuckGo and you can be on Telegram, and boom, you're sorted, or Signal or whatever. So yeah, that is a problem. Drunk questioner, I see you. So the moral of the story is I have to get 6 different apps because my 6 different friends, or my 6 friends, have 6 different paranoias. Yeah, I don't know if it's paranoia, but yeah, watch from the beginning. But yeah, I understand that's also a problem for some people. I know that because the majority may use WhatsApp. People feel like, well, everybody uses WhatsApp, so why should I move over to any other app or whatever? Well, that's fine too. Like we said, sooner or later in the future, I really do believe there's just going to be options, and you're going to have people that are on one application that aren't on the other. It's going to happen. I think that's where the world.
And I'll deal with it.
Yeah, we'll deal with it.
How that pans out.
We're in a very interesting time in history, I think. Oh wow! Thank you so much Lone Wolf ZA, blah, 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 not a stripper chat. Thank you so much
I
for
haven't
the
seen Lone
14.
Wolf in a long time.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. All right, guys. Well, Marco, yes, I do. I actually love Zeducation. I think he's really funny. And yeah, very, very cool guy. I'll hope to one day have him on my channel. I'll try and reach out to him. For those of you who haven't yet, please go check out Zeducation. He's really good. All right, so Yanni, do you have any final words?
No, not something that I haven't said yet. I think, Joe, guys, it's your choice. I think my advice here is don't just be of the opinion that, oh, they're already collecting everything about me, so it's all fine. It's like, don't
It
be
might
like
get worse.
that. It might get worse, yeah. I'm saying is be aware of what's being collected about you. Be aware of what you are selling, and is it worth you selling that information to whoever you're selling with it? Because to you it might feel like nothing, but somebody else is making tons of money off this. And I'm not saying they shouldn't and whatever, and all these things conceptually is all great. I just think in the fine print, there's some stuff that I have personal issue with. That's brought me to the decision that I've taken. And it's a pain. It's a pain for my wife as well, because she runs a business. She has lots of clients on WhatsApp. She is now splitting her phones with a new number that is, for WhatsApp and for her business, and a number that doesn't have WhatsApp, and the one doesn't have Facebook and doesn't get carried around and whatever. And that's how we'll deal with that, because her business needs to run. And unfortunately, Facebook is always going to favor their direct subsidiaries, if I can call that. Direct subsidiaries shouldn't even be used in the same sentence. Facebook will always favor their subsidiaries. So they'll always have better integration with the companies that they own, like WhatsApp, as opposed to Telegram or some of the other chat apps that's there. So my advice is, guys, just don't click the OK, go to next, accept policies. Read a little bit about what it is that you're selling. Give it some thought and understand what it is that you're selling, and then make a decision around that. And hey, whatever decision you make is fine. I'm not going to judge you. Just don't judge me.
Yeah, I second that. I second that absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. I think you and I both saw the same comment.
Let me go and read the TikTok terms of services.
I think,
I'm more worried.
Yanni, I really do
about the noobs on TikTok. So
yeah. I really do think that it might be worthwhile for us to do, not like, look, 2 weeks from now we'll do a different topic, but maybe next month. So give us time to maybe do some research on this. But let's go and let's analyze the terms and conditions of every social media platform that is available. We've done already Instagram, Facebook. Let's do YouTube. Let's do TikTok. Let's do Twitter, Gab, and if Parlay is up and running, we'll do them as well. And then we can compare and say, okay, guys, this app does this, or this social media does that. I think people might want to know, and maybe Reese will be pleasantly surprised. I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go read that tonight.
All right, so I just want to do a shout out. I just want to do a shout out for Beast Invader. Thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. Thank you for the kind words as well. It's good to see you back. We missed you, man. I haven't seen you on these in the live chats for a very long time. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Look, I second what Yanni said in closing. I'm going to make personal choices. They're my choices. I have a right to. I'm not going to insult anyone, or if someone's on Facebook and I'm not, or if someone's using WhatsApp and I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you use WhatsApp. How dare you? They take your crap. Whatever. I'm going to move on with my life. People want to reach me, they can reach me on Telegram. And quite honestly, my phone's been going crazy with the amount of people that have been joining Telegram. So I do think that in a few months' time, a lot of people, there's going to be people that are either using both or one or the other, but a large amount of people have moved over to Telegram. I can honestly say I have about almost 1,000 contacts on this one phone, and at least half have already moved over to Telegram. So there you go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I think we've concluded it. I think we've said all we needed to say. We did go a bit over time, but it's fine. Yeah, Yanni, thank you so much for doing all the reading and all the research. But I think
Good, man.
You found it beneficial to yourself anyway. I think you were going to do it anyway because you're a tech guy, so you do this, like, you just research all the time. So thank you for sharing this with us. I hope for those of you that are watching, you learned something. Please share this video. Remember, get this video to 50 likes. We'll do that social media thing if you guys really want to know. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks for another Tech Tuesday. Not sure what the topic is just yet, but we will be back. And thank you all so much for the super chats, those of you that gave super chats. Don't forget to become a member, and don't forget to also check out the Rebel store, please. Okay, we are shipping nationwide now. We're officially open, so go place your order and maybe buy a gift. You know, we're gonna have some Valentine's Day shirts coming out soon, and some more shirts are being released as well as other products. So keep your eye on that website and check it out.
It's not me, it's you. I want that Valentine's Day shirt. No, wait, it's not you, it's me.
That's not a bad one. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Bradley Cook, for putting the link in. And yeah, cheers, gents. Yanni, do you want to extend this? I know I was pretty much saying goodbye, but do you want to extend this to another 15 minutes? Is there a question? Maybe we can ask the audience. Is there a question that we missed? Is there a question you guys have concerns? Because I remember, Yanni, you said you do want a moment for Q&A. Just hit me now.
There is a question that we missed earlier, Joe. Sorry, somebody asked.
I don't know how far back I can go.
No, I remember the question. I'm just trying to think if I can see the person that pasted it. It was around backup. So somebody asked around backing up this. I don't know if I can go back that far. Let me see if I can get the exact.
While you're doing that, Blakeman, no worries, man. Look, on YouTube, you can always watch later, man. But if you tune in for a live stream, that's also cool. So as long as you watch and as long as you share the content, I'm very happy. Thank you so much.
David Reich asked the question, Joe. Let me repost it as David.
Cool. I just want to answer Eleutheria's question very quickly. So should I delete Facebook or Instagram off my new phone? Again, we're not going to tell you what you should do when it comes to deleting apps, because at the end of the day, you got to be comfortable or not comfortable with what is being shared. What we've done today is we brought you the information of what these different social media, or specifically Facebook, because Facebook owns Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. And we've shown you now what Facebook, with the information that they collect from you. It's up to you and yourself. So speak to yourself. Say, self, are we comfortable with this? No. There you go. It's about. I don't think we have the right to tell you to delete an app or not. Yeah. Okay. So Yanni posted this one. So David Reich. Also, what about backups? You can back up your data and messages and retrieve it later. I know iStore and Google Play manages the storage, but how far do they have access to view the content?
I cut off the last little bit there because I think it was long. But yeah, so David, that's a very good question, and thanks, Joe, for let's discuss this point. So again, this goes back to the encryption discussion about Facebook, about WhatsApp, where they said your messages are encrypted end-to-end on the device, and only you or the person that sent it can read that messages and whatever. When it comes to backing up that type of data, though, again, you are moving it from one place to another place. And in this case, if you are putting that data onto Google, and I think they store it in your Google Drive or something, in Apple, they will store it. Apple has that storage space that they will use for that. that data now all of a sudden gets stored in the third party. So it's just something that you need to be aware of. Now, I'm not saying Google storage is insecure or Apple storage is insecure. I know, as an example that I can use that's local, with Oscar Pistorius court case they had a couple of years back. He forgot his PIN code to his phone or something, and I don't even think they ever got right to get Apple to decrypt that phone and decrypt that data and whatever. So again, that's Apple's policies around that. I don't know how far Google goes, and I don't know how much leeway the court system has, because these are US-based companies, to tell them to cough up some data, because we saw what happened now with them having an issue with content and Parler and all that type of stuff. So yeah, my point I'm trying to make here is if you do back up your data, if it is your WhatsApp data, and I'm saying this in the context of maybe you have some secure data that is in WhatsApp, like passwords or something that you need to store that's sensitive, though, right? If you back it up somewhere, make sure that that location where you back it up is protected. So more importantly, when you access your Apple data, your Apple storage is 2FA or two-factor authentication enabled, etc. So if your password's compromised, is that data, secure? The same thing with Google. Google also has the Authenticator app, whatever. So make sure that those things are on, because if you do back up that data there, at least if your account is compromised, that data is not accessible. I really don't think that those guys are going to go and dig in our data. The data is going to be encrypted, yes, because these guys do use shared hosting. But in that case, the encryption, that's called encryption at rest. It's when the data is stored somewhere in an encrypted fashion, and when you log into it, your account kind of like unlocks that lockbox, and then you access your data. I do think, for the most part, those things are secure. I don't think those things are going to be insecure. But if you really have a concern about storing that data in the cloud, I have an app, and I don't have this app because I have concerns about where I store my data. I just don't have a big enough iCloud to store all my data on iCloud. So I have an app called iMazing, or iMazing, one word, and I use iMazing to back up my phone, and it backs up rich backup, so I can back up my WhatsApps, whatever, or all kinds of stuff like that, and I can back it up offline on my PC. But again, I now need to make sure that I store this data securely somewhere, because PCs crash. If it's a laptop, laptops get stolen. Again, be very careful around where you store data, that you have adequate backup for these things. I hope, David, that they did answer your question. I kind of went a bit broader, just do they have access to your content, but I hope that kind of like answered it.
Cool. I just want to address this very quickly. Lars Solis says you must make a Telegram group and cultivate an atmosphere of joking around. People might join the group for laughs and discover your channel that way. It's a good idea. I'm not going to argue that it's a good idea or that it's a bad idea or whatever. I'm not going to argue against it. However, personally, and Yanni knows this, a lot of people on my channel know this, I hate groups. One of the best things about deleting my WhatsApp was the groups are gone. Gone.
Those groups will find you in Telegram.
I hate groups. I really do. I cannot imagine having a Joe Emilio group or Joe Emilio show group and dealing with all the, like, I don't want to get into details, but suffice it to say, drama happens, drama that I don't want to deal with. That's why I have the Telegram channel where I post my upcoming videos, and people can have easy access one click away and know about it, because YouTube isn't always sufficient with notifications, and not everybody is always on social media. So at least with the Telegram channel, people can be updated. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Lars Solis, about the funny. I agree with you. But there's funny things on this channel. There's Say What, which we're going to do this Thursday for the first one of 2020 and 2021. And I am working on some other funny content moving forward. So stay tuned for that. And join the channel, the Telegram channel, be notified. And then Bradley Cook saying, there is also a difference in policies between free Google and Apple storage versus a business/paid for policy. The paid version security and policy is a fair bit stronger. Interesting.
Ah, that's interesting, Bradley.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Joe,
Yeah.
just something before I forget. So something that I like about Telegram though is you can have folders for all your stuff. So I have a folder for all my groups, and I have a folder for my family chats and the folder for friends and whatever. So you can like get a bit of organized
On WhatsApp,
chaos. No, on Telegram.
you can do folders on Telegram.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can't show you. I can bring up my phone on screen, but it's gonna show my personal stuff. So I can't.
No,
show
no,
you
don't worry.
everything
Don't
now.
worry. You show me.
I've got folders.
I didn't know you could do
That's
folders
pretty
on
cool.
Telegram. That's pretty cool. That's not bad. But still, man, you know the groups. Like
I
you know.
I'm just saying. It's a cool feature.
Yeah.
I mean, the secret chat feature and the messages disappearing, and if somebody takes screenshots of messages and whatever, all that stuff is also pretty cool. I mean, so there's some really cool features in Telegram.
I didn't
Okay,
know about these.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
So
This I
you
can maybe
can't-
show on screen.
You can't screen grab messages on Instagram.
No.
I mean,
you
sorry,
can.
Telegram.
You can, but you'll know about it. So
Oh, really?
Hold on. Yeah. Joe Emilio. Where's Joe Emilio? I'm gonna send a message to Joe. Secret chat. Let me just bring up secret chat. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you can make me full screen, Joe, then I can. show
Okay, so I
this on
see the okay, you've come now. So there's a secret chat. Okay, it says
Yeah,
secret
so
chat,
just wanna
end-to-end
hold on
encryption
before-
as well. Leave
Yeah.
no trace on the servers. Have a self-destruct timer. Do not allow
Yeah.
forwarding.
So, guys, you'll see my phone. In a
Oh
sec.
wow! It actually says you took a screenshot.
Yeah. So, I'm going to send a message now. Hey, Joe. And I'm going to say it's going to self-destruct in 5 seconds. And I'm going to hit send. So cool. There I sent, hey,
Yeah.
Joe. I'm sorry, it's a bit
Yeah.
lag on the stream. It's going to come through now. Hey, Joe. And 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. Gone.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to send another message. Hey,
Wait a second.
Joe.
So
Well, you
Hold
send
on.
something, then people
No,
see
no.
your screen disappear.
wait. So all messages self-destruct in 5 seconds.
No. So on the screen, I can either switch it off 1 second, 2, 3, 5, all the way up to 1 minute, I think, or 1 week. Sorry, 1 week, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week.
You have control
And
over that. Not
yeah, and it's per message that you send. But something else that's pretty cool though is if I delete my message, I can choose to delete the message for you as well across the Telegram platform. So it's opening up a whole new world of trolling and stalking. But yeah, so I'm going to just send, okay, your message hasn't gone away yet. Is it going to go away?
it went away.
I'm
I
gonna take a
sent another one.
screenshot now. Okay, cool. So my phone is not on screen yet. Come on. Got stuck. Just stop the broadcast again. Get my phone on screen. I want to show what happens when I take a screenshot. But I think you would have seen that. You would
Yeah,
see.
I saw it. It says yeah, take a screenshot again.
Yeah, so I see a message there, took a screenshot. See, there goes your message. Awkward and gone. And if I take a screenshot of that, it says you took a screenshot and you see that. So
Yeah, I'll take
it's
a
pretty
screenshot.
cool.
There.
Yeah.
Uh,
It only does that in secret chats though, but yeah, I think that's pretty like
Yeah,
it's
but you
just
see,
new.
that's new. That's interesting. But I would prefer that they did that whole screenshot thing with every chat, because that would be.
Oh, dude,
useful.
give it a few months. Give it a few months. All of this stuff in the news. Oh, but WhatsApp does end to end, and Telegram does whatever. Dude, it's a flick of a switch, and all messages by default work like this.
Sure.
You might get some limited functionality when you start
Yeah.
sharing it between multiple devices and whatever, because inherently the system works different. But yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
that was pretty cool.
You just received a notification that Telegram has 500 million active users. Yeah, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow.
Oh yeah, I saw the message from Lefebvre as well.
So this is, yeah, like these are cool features. This is now taking this whole messaging thing to the next level. I like that. But yeah, like I said, maybe we can discuss more of this. I mean, this is all really cool. Maybe we can compare WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal one Tech Tuesday or something, you know. So yeah, Laura, I see you. You got to go. It's fine.
Bye,
Thank you so
Laura.
much for tuning in. Cheers. And on that note, it has been an hour and a half. So thank you all so much for tuning into the show. Thank you all so much for the super chats. Thank you all so much for everything. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Please share this with people. I know that it's an hour and a half, but at least tell people like, hey, there's some good information on here. Just tell people to share, to watch,
share, subscribe,
like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Yes, sorry. I will be back on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, and Yanni and I will be back in 2 weeks' time for another Tech Tuesday. We'll let you know what the subject is in the future. And until then, Yanni, do you have anything else to say?
Oh, good.
All right.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, ladies,
this was awesome. Thanks,
it was
guys.
awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again, and stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.